Hello fellow YouTubers, this is DVD Collector 1986 here with another video. This is going to be a collection update video, and this will be for the month of August. And I got quite a lot of movies here, so I'm not going to try to spend too much time on any one movie. But if there's one or two you'd like me to, or any that you would like for me to review on their own, let me know, and let's just get into it. I've got DVDs, Blu-rays, and a couple of a few 4Ks. So I just want to say real quick, with 4K and Blu-ray now being out, I will say this: don't stop buying DVD. The reason why is because there are some movies that are on DVD that never made it to Blu-ray even, and they also did not make it to 4K. That's why I don't, totally eliminate purchasing DVDs. It'll never happen, but if there ever comes a day when everything that's on DVD comes to Blu-ray, then I will stop buying DVDs. But there are some things that are only available on DVD still. So anyway, let's get into this update. First, I've got a few documentaries here. Ghost Encounters, The Queen Mary. This is a roughly hour-long documentary hosted by Peter James, and he explores the very famous Queen Mary ship that is docked in California. And I don't want to ruin this for anybody, but I'll say this: it's really good. And if ever you wondered, is there life after death? Is there supernatural occurrences? Are ghosts real? Like I said, you'll have to watch this, but if what happens in the last 20 minutes of this documentary does not convince you that there is supernatural things in this world, then nothing will. There's something really, really neat that is captured on camera at the end of this documentary, or near the end, where Peter James literally carries on a full-fledged back and forth conversation with a ghost of a young girl, and she responds back to his questions in full sentences. And it's kind of freaky, but it's really neat at the same time. I love watching documentaries about ghosts and ghost hunting. Anyway, this was a really cool documentary. I highly recommend it. Next, we've got some Titanic stuff here. Anybody who watches my channel knows that I am a big Titanic fan. I'm very interested in the history of the Titanic. I know a lot about the Titanic, and I would say I'm very passionate about a few things in my life, this being one of them. I know a lot about World War II, and I honestly would say, as much as I know about World War II, which is a lot, I actually know more about the Titanic than I do about World War II, so that should tell you something. Anyway, this is Titanica. This is a IMAX feature documentary, and the most notable thing is that little red circle right there. This is narrated by Leonard Nimoy, Spock. And I have not seen this documentary yet, so I can't say how good or how bad it is, but from what I've heard from multiple sources and friends of mine who have seen it, this is a really good documentary, apparently. So I can't wait to check that out. Next, here's another Titanic documentary. Secrets of the Titanic. This is the original Robert Ballard documentary when he first discovered the Titanic. The wreckage, he found it in 1985. And it also comes with behind the scenes, a Q&A featurette with Dr. Robert Ballard, and also a bonus documentary. They call it a bonus program called Last Hours of the Titanic. And there's also another feature on here about the Titanic as well. I don't remember exactly what that one's about. I need to go back and rewatch this and find out. But just know that it's packed with a whole bunch of really cool stuff. If you're a Titanic buff and you're into the history of it, definitely you want to pick this up. That's what it's called, actually. It's right here on the front. It says, includes new special, Save the Titanic with Bob Ballard. That's the name of the other thing that's on here. So it's pretty packed. Here's another Titanic documentary, Titanic at 100, Mystery Solved. This is actually a History Channel original, and this is from an expedition that was done in April of 2012, so not too long ago. And they map and photograph literally the entire wreck site. For those of you who do not know, the Titanic, when it sank, it broke into two pieces, bow and stern, and the two pieces of the wreckage plus the debris field that's around in between the bow and the stern on the bottom of the Atlantic is about a 15-mile radius. That's how big the debris field is. They map and photograph the entire wreck site, all 15 square miles of it. And where the Titanic split in two, there's actually a section of the ship that was thought to have been completely mangled and destroyed, ripped to shreds, because they figured out that if they measured the length of the bow section and the length of the stern section and added those two lengths together, there's a section in the middle of the ship that was missing. And long story short, they find the missing middle section of the ship. And believe it or not, it's intact. It's messed up, obviously, but that middle section is intact, and it's about as tall as a 3-story apartment building. So, very, very interesting documentary about the Titanic. Like I said about the others, if you're a Titanic person and you like the history, you like hearing about the Titanic and all that, I would definitely recommend this documentary as well. Okay. And the last Titanic thing for this update, Saving the Titanic. This is originally a PBS documentary. This is a pretty rare, hard to find DVD, but this is it's based on historical fact, but it's dramatized, and it's very, very well done. And basically, it's about the engineers and electricians who worked below, shoveling coal, keeping the Titanic's electrical systems running to the last possible second. It's about them, and when the Titanic was hit by the iceberg, it was thought by the engineer, the naval architect Thomas Andrews, that the Titanic would sink in roughly an hour to hour and a half. Well, she sank in 2 hours and 40 minutes. And I believe that despite the bad rap that the Titanic has gotten over the years, that in fact the Titanic was actually a very well built ship. And even though a lot of people perished in the tragedy, I tell the story that I believe that the Titanic saved 700 lives. She was a very well-built ship. But this movie is about the engineers and how they stayed below to keep the electrical systems on so that the lights would work on the ship so that other passengers and crew could find their way to the lifeboats on the upper decks and safely get away. If it hadn't been for these guys, a lot less people would have survived. But that's what this, it's kind of a docudrama. That's what this is about. Very well done, very dramatic, very engaging, and this is going to shock you. But I think this movie is more emotional, packs more of a gut punch than the James Cameron Titanic movie did. And this is a PBS docudrama. Very well done. Anyway, I got that. I also got another documentary, Scary Stories. This is about the scary stories to tell in the dark. The spooky children's books from the 90s, which I grew up reading. I read all 3 of them. Love them. And this documentary deals with these books and kind of the controversy surrounding them. They almost got banned back in the day, and they changed the illustrations at one point to make them more kid-friendly. And just everything about those books is talked about in this documentary. Very well done. And I really enjoy that documentary as well. Okay, now we're getting into actual movies. Nobody, from the writer of John Wick. Pretty good action movie with John Odenkirk and Christopher Lloyd. A really good action movie, actually. A rare type of horror movie, a PG-13 horror movie that mixes horror and religion. The Unholy with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who played Negan in The Walking Dead. This is a really good horror movie. Yes, like I said, PG-13. But it's a rare exception because it's actually a really well done PG-13 horror movie that's actually quite scary. Most PG-13 horror movies are not that good at all, but this one is pretty good. Next, classic from 1996, Jerry Maguire. Brand new, pretty recent movie. A Quiet Place 2. I have the first one, so I had to pick this one up. I enjoy both of the Quiet Place movies, both of them. They're both really good. And yes, I'm still a fan of The Walking Dead. Is it as good as it used to be? No. But it's still enjoyable. I will say this. As diehard of a fan as I am of The Walking Dead, I do believe the show is still really good. I will say that if I had to pick out one flaw of the show, why so many people stopped watching it, was when they took Rick out of the show for good. What happened was the show was told and seen from his point of view from season 1 all the way to the halfway mark of season 9 when he exited the show. And after that, the mistake that the makers of this show made, I think, but it's still good, still a good show, is there is no central character anymore. Having Rick there, he was the central character. He was the one that held the show all together. But now there's no longer a central character anymore, and some of the episodes will focus on this character and then that one and that one. But there's no central character anymore, and I think that's the major weakness of the show now. Although I do hear they're doing a season 11, and supposedly that's supposed to be the last season. But we will find out about that later when season 11 actually comes out. But I got The Walking Dead season 10. Next, I already had this movie on Blu-ray, but I did not have this edition. This is actually the 3D 4-disc collector's edition. The reason I picked this up was there is a one of the 4 discs in here contains it's like a 3-hour and 44-minute documentary all about the making of this movie, Prometheus. Literally almost 4 hours of anything and everything you'd want to know about how this movie was made. Amazing documentary. And it's on an exclusive bonus disc that only comes in this edition. That's why I bought this, because I had the regular Blu-ray of it. But the cool thing about double dipping with this one is that this edition, because it's been around a while, I got it for only $4. So it was a really good deal, and I couldn't pass it up. I got a DVD here. We've got The Station Agent. This is a movie with Peter Dinklage. Pretty good movie. A bit of an older movie. It's from 2003. I had not seen it until recently, and I thought it was a really good movie. Next, this is an upgrade. Passion of the Christ. I had this on DVD. Now I have the Blu-ray. Really good movie. Hard to watch, but really good movie. And I guess I can show both of these at the same time. I had the Indiana Jones movies on Blu-ray already. The collection, the previous collection, the one that came in the kind of the digibook packaging. I heard that these are remastered and the picture quality is a little bit better and different on this set than the previous Blu-ray set. But there's another reason why I got this. See, I have the Blu-ray version, and I have also this I bought at the same time. Now you might be asking, why did you buy the new Blu-ray release, the 4K release, while you still have the previous Blu-ray collection that was in the digibook version? One, I heard that the Blu-rays on this newer set had better picture, had been color corrected, and a few other things. I can't really tell a difference. I watched both Blu-rays sets and compared. I couldn't really tell, but maybe I need to look closer, or maybe I need to watch them on a different TV. But the reason why I bought that was because of that. I like having the combination of Blu-ray and 4K, and the reason I bought two separate sets is because I like this packaging better also. This isn't a digibook, it's actually discs on disc trays, which I prefer rather than digibooks. And the reason I bought the new Blu-ray and the new 4K is because the 4K version only comes with the 4K discs and the digital. The Blu-rays are not included. So that's why I bought both. But anyway, I love the Indiana Jones movies. And let's see. We got Alien Covenant on 4K. That movie looks great on 4K. Now, I've been meaning to watch the Indiana Jones movies on 4K, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. But I hear those look pretty good also. Indecent Proposal with Robert Redford, Demi Moore, and Woody Harrelson. Really good movie from 1993, I believe. Classic movie. Here's a, I guess, romantic comedy. I'm usually not into these kinds of movies, but I heard this movie was pretty funny, and so I bought it, got it for $3, and it wasn't as funny as I thought it would be, but I enjoyed it enough to where I'm gonna keep the movie. I thought it was pretty funny, and that's Game Night. Pretty good little movie. This is an upgrade. I had this on DVD. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I now have all 3 of the Planet of the Apes remake trilogy. I have all of them on Blu-ray now. So, here's another DVD. Cheech and Chong, Still Smoking. Love me some Cheech and Chong. Hilarious movies. Here we go. Another 4K. Speed. This movie looks amazing on 4K. I've seen this on 4K, and all the talk about the transfer on this being really good is true. It looks really good. The only thing that's a bit misleading is it tells you on the bottom, Ultimate Collector's Edition, very lacking in special features. They just put that label on there to get you to buy it, because you would think if it's Special Collector's Edition or Ultimate Collector's Edition that it would be loaded with special features, but in fact it's very, very lacking. And I'm sorry, but I like audio commentaries. I like hearing about how the director or actors, what they did while making the movie. I think that's very interesting. But I don't think that audio commentaries are true special features. When I think of bonus content, like special features, I like feature-length making of documentaries where they, like the one like for Prometheus, like the almost 4-hour documentary just about the making of that movie. That's a special feature. That's the kind of thing I expect to see on an edition like this, and this one was kind of lacking. Now, they do have something called Inside Speed. Maybe that's a making of documentary, but I haven't checked it out yet, and it's probably not that long. Maybe I could be wrong. But the movie itself looks really good, though. So it was worth the upgrade. Next, another upgrade. Underworld on 4K. I haven't checked this out on 4K yet. Here, this looks pretty good as well. Next, Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke on Blu-ray. Really hilarious movie. Again, this movie and the other one I just showed you are my 2 favorite Cheech and Chong movies. I think these guys are hilarious. And next is Anchorman with Will Ferrell. I bought this movie. I like it enough that I'm going to keep it, but I don't think this movie was as funny as people were saying that it was. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Will Ferrell. I don't think he's that funny. I actually think that Will Ferrell is kind of annoying. But there was some stuff in this movie that I did enjoy. But I really don't like Will Ferrell. He's the main character, unfortunately. And the other guy, who I found even more annoying than Will Ferrell, was this guy right here on the end. He just had a lot of scenes where he was screaming and hollering, "Why are we yelling?" If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't find him or Will Ferrell that funny at all. That's just me. I'm not real big on comedies. There are certain comedies that I do like, but there's very, very few comedies that I actually do like. Now, I'm not the biggest Steven Seagal fan either. However, I absolutely love this movie, and that's Under Siege. It also stars Gary Busey and Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah. And I saw this movie years ago, and I loved it. Very entertaining. And my grandfather, who has, he passed away in 2019, but my grandfather also was a fan of this movie, and the reason I think I really liked this movie is not just because I liked it, which I did, but also I liked it because my grandfather liked it, and my grandfather was a 20-year Navy veteran, so he really enjoyed this movie for several reasons, and maybe that's why I like it. So, but this is a really good movie if you haven't seen it. And next, I had this already. I had the U.S. release. This is the UK version. Again, this only cost me $12. So the reason why, essentially, I bought the same exact set. Just this is the UK version. Now, people might say, "Well, why did you buy that set twice if you already had it?" That's because the U.S. version, just like the Indiana Jones set I was talking about, the U.S. version came in a digibook type of packaging where the discs did not have actual disc trays. They were just they slid out of these paper sleeve type arrangement. Every time you pull the disc out, the disc is making contact with the sleeve, scratching the back of the disc. Now, yes, they're Blu-rays. They can take a little bit more punishment, but the whole point of packaging is to protect the back of your movie discs, because if they get scratched, they may not work anymore. Why U.S. companies keep putting these amazing movies in these stupid packages, I'll never understand. But you can clearly tell that the UK version, every movie is on, every disc is on its own disc tray. You don't have to slide them out. And therefore, the discs will not get scratched unless you actually try to scratch them. But I like this kind of packaging better, and it's smaller than the US release, and it fits on the shelf a lot better, taking up less space. So this was sort of an upgrade, not really, but it's identical to the US release, has all the same special features and everything. Here's a documentary I was going to show you. This is, again, why I still buy DVD, because this is only available on DVD. I have a lot of like Elvis Presley documentaries. I'm not real big on Elvis's music, but I like Elvis as a person. I think he had a colorful, interesting life. My grandmother, on the other hand, she loves Elvis Presley. Music, everything. But I find documentaries about people like Elvis, and just documentaries about anything almost, very interesting. And there was a singer named Glenn Campbell who was popular around the same time that Elvis was popular. And there was a documentary about him on the app that Tubi app that's on Roku, and it had a DVD release, so I went and I bought it on DVD so I could actually have it on the shelf. Glen Campbell, I'll Be Me. Unfortunately, Glen Campbell ended up getting Alzheimer's really bad, and it's actually a really sad documentary because he was a very strong person, a really good musician, and it's about how Alzheimer's kind of robbed him, basically. Like I said, it's a really sad documentary, but it's very heartfelt and a very good watch. Like I said, if you like documentaries about musicians, documentaries about anything, you definitely don't want to miss this documentary. It's actually really good. And the last thing I wanted to show you, I bought this set a long time ago, well, months ago. And again, back to the packaging. Like I said about the Indiana Jones, the first Indiana Jones Blu-ray collection, I had the U.S. release of the Alien Anthology and the Back to the Future set. They all have the same packaging. It's like these cardboard sleeves where the discs, you have to slide the disc out. Again, the discs make contact with the packaging that they're in, and they get scuffed or at least rubbed up against by the packaging, and you keep doing that over time. Let's say you have those movies for 10 years. You keep doing that for 10 years. Those Blu-rays, even though they're Blu-ray, they're going to end up with scratches. And like I showed you with the UK release of the Alien Anthology, I like the fact that the discs are each in their own disc tray. So I took my Back to the Future 4K Ultimate Trilogy collection, which those of you who have that set, you know how that packaging is. You slide the digibook out of the outer slipcover, and the discs you slide them out. And sometimes the discs are in there kind of tight, so just taking them out can scratch them. Well, luckily I removed all of my discs from that packaging safely and buffed them, and they don't have any scratches on them. Thank goodness. And what I did was I designed my own cover art for the Back to the Future 4K collection, and I put the art, I sized it so that I could put all the discs, which there are 7 discs, 3 4K discs, and 4 Blu-rays, 3 of which are the movies, and then the 4th Blu-ray disc is special features. Anyway, 7 discs total, and I found a Blu-ray case that holds 7 discs, and I basically had to design my own artwork and then resize it so that when I printed it out and cut it out, that it would fit. And I can live with it. The only thing is that the case is just a standard Blu-ray case. It doesn't say, it just has the Blu-ray disc logo. It's a blue case. I tried to look for the 4K Ultra HD cases, replacement ones that could hold 7 discs, and apparently they don't make any 7-disc Ultra HD cases. So this is a regular Blu-ray case, but anyway, this is what I did. Now, you notice on the artwork, it does say 4K Ultra HD. So, it's a 4K Ultra HD set. This is the front cover. And there's the spine, so when you put it on the shelf, it other than this being blue, it fits in pretty well. And there's the back. And I even took the liberty of scanning the previous artwork so I could get this barcode, and I moved the barcode right here, so the barcode matches the actual release. And all the special features are listed there. And this artwork I found actually doing a Yahoo image search, and then once I got the artwork, I tweaked it a little bit. Like this image of the DeLorean down here was not originally on the artwork that I had found doing my search. So I added that, and I had to tweak it and resize it a little bit, but I did that with Microsoft Paint, and I think it came out pretty good. So anyway, now all of my Back to the Future movies, instead of having to slide them out of a digibook, each disc has its own disc tray. So they're less likely to be scratched, which means they'll last a lot longer now. So anyway, that wasn't really a new addition. I just wanted to show you what I had done with that. And real quick, I wanted to mention another release that had the same packaging that I do not like was the Star Wars, the complete saga. I took those Blu-rays and did the same thing with those that I did with the Back to the Future set. I scanned the art of the original packaging, and then I resized it and printed it out, and that artwork fit into a 9-disc Blu-ray case. So essentially, I'm not going to show you the Star Wars set, but it's essentially the same thing I did with this one, except it's for the Star Wars movies. So now those movies are also in a better package. Anyway, this ended up being a lot longer than I wanted it to be, but I guess I had a lot to say and a lot of movies to show you. And if you made it this far into the video, I thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.